Hello and welcome back to the next part, or part 2 to our data prep in the query editor. Now, in the last video I mentioned, for instance, the state option here, or the time option as well, right? But we haven't used it before. Okay, what you can do is the following. You can go to your dates table here, and then you need to refer to a date itself. So in this case, we have this one here, right? Our continuous date range. And if you click on this, then you have the option to use this date here. So this date transformation step. And what you can do here is if you click on this icon here, this down arrow, you can extract something like, for instance, the year, the month, or the quarter and the week, as well as the start of the week, the end of the week, and also true, of course, for the quarter as well as the month, right? So just take a look at what options you can find there, okay? For instance, if I want to have the year, what I could do is I could extract the start of the year, okay? So if I go to year, start of the year, and click on it, you can see that now here, start of the year appears. You can see for 2017, it's always the 1st of January, okay? So if I go over here, back, you can see our original date is still there. But here we have created actually now a new column, which actually contains now, as I said, the start of the year. You can do this with all the other options as well. Okay, for instance, select it again, and then go to date here, and then here would say, for instance, for the week, let's say what kind of week is it. So let's say the week of year. Select it, and again you create a new column, and you can see 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so this works as well, and still we got our original date column in here. So sometimes, at least in earlier Power BI versions, actually, if we have used this date here, actually select the date and use this, for instance, date parse and so on, then actually this column got overwritten, okay? So obviously in new Power BI versions it's not the case anymore, but depending on your version of Power BI which you have, you might overwrite this column. If that's the case, then what you need to do first, before you can use those options, you would right click on the column, a specific column, and then you also have a lot of different options. Again, some of them are already familiar from the ribbons that up here, but in this case you would simply duplicate the column, okay? And then do this kinds of date parsing which you have here, okay? All right, so this would be 2 additional options for this date option here. And again, I'm using those, or actually get rid of them here directly. You can simply deselect them. I just wanted to show you what's possible actually in here, okay? All right, now an advanced query technique, which I have mentioned before, is if we go back to home, is the merge query option, right? And what we want to do now is we want to get data from the web, so from the internet, and actually merge the data to our, the data set which we have here. So specifically, if I go to the location data, this is actually location data for California, okay? And what we have here is actually, besides information about the, California and the counties itself, is we have data about the population in here, right? This one. However, this population data might not be state-of-the-art, okay? So there might be changes from time to time, and because of that, I just want to actually use newer data set. So what I can do is I can go to a specific homepage, and I already have opened it. It's this one. It's called www.california-demographics.com/counties by population with underscores, okay? So in case you can't read it, I'll make it a little bigger, can't, okay? But in case you can't read it, then simply write in the comment section and I paste you the link, okay? All right, so what I want is actually, I want to extract this table, which I have here, where I have specific counties as well as the population, okay? And this should be actually the newest one, so at least that's what I expect, for the specific counties, okay? So instead of using my own one, which I have currently in here for the population, this one here, I want to have actually those values in here. Okay, so the question is, how can I get them? Well, what I need is, of course, the homepage itself. So I can simply use the link, Control-C to copy it, and then I go back to Power BI, and then I say, actually, I want to, under Home, New Source, I want to have new data. In this case, the web is here. It's already available. Of course, you can also find it under More. But if I select Web here, then from Web opens, and I have the option to use Basic or Advanced. So if I click on Advanced, I have different kinds of options. For instance, I can specify the URL and only using parts of the URL and combine them. For instance, with a specific parameter, if I want to do that, okay? In this case, or send specific HTTP request header and so on. But for our case, all we need is a basic one, okay? So select Basic, and then simply paste the URL inside, okay? Click OK. And then we simply wait until Power BI actually loads the web page and then takes a look at it and tries to identify what kind of tables are there, okay? We have a table view, and we also have a web view. If you click on the web view, you can see actually here inside the homepage itself. And you can already see that table 0 has actually identified the right table for us in here, okay? So this one is exactly what we need. So again, if we go back to table view, we have the option to either select the document, which looks like that, okay, that's this table, or as we said before, we can click on this, table 0, which we already have seen here, the table 0, which is exactly the table we need, okay? We got a rank, and we got the county itself, and beside the county, we got the population figure in here, okay? So great. So just in case you're trying to do this on another homepage, and the table you want to use is not found or not specified by Power BI directly, you also have the option actually to use this add table using examples. Then you have the option to really specify or try to enter some data and let Power BI guess what kind of data you want to extract from the website, okay? For our cases, and oftentimes, at least from my point of view, Power BI is already recognizing in case it is a table on the homepage, on the HTML homepage, of course, that's a requirement, but then actually the table should be detected, and then you can simply select the specific table you want. In this case, I'm using this table in here, and I click OK, and then I simply wait until the data from the web is loaded into the data model in here, okay? And here it is. And let's say we click on refresh. Okay, and I got my table 0, and let's call this table simply population, okay? I go in here and say this is my population from web, okay? From web. So from the internet, press enter, and now I got my table in here. It's renamed, and you can see I got a rank, I got a county, and I got a population. And now I have the option to merge queries, because if I take back a look in my location data, I also got a county in here, right? So here's my county, and this is actually the common column which we have, because here a county appears probably several times, right? We can see also San Diego here, because we got different kinds of locations in San Diego, right? So we got different kinds of shops, for instance, right? So, but within the population table, there's only one specific county appearing one time, right? So Los Angeles County, for instance, only appearing once, and there's no additional entries, okay? So we got basically a one-to-many relationship if you want. So one Los Angeles County in here, but multiple times in our location data, okay? Because we got different locations for the Los Angeles County, okay? So what we can do now is we can go within the location data and click on merge queries here, and I click this little icon here, and you can see we can either merge queries or merge queries as new. In our case, we can simply use merge queries because actually I want to use the population from web and want to append it to my already available location data, okay? I do not need to create a new table with those two entries. I simply want to append it to location data. So I can go to merge queries, click on it, and then I have the option. Here's my original data source, my location data. And then I can select a specific column which I want to use, in this case my county here, and then I need to select the next table or the other table. In our case, we can simply, these are the tables actually which are available here, okay, and for us it's the population from web, so I can select population from web, and you can see I got a rank, county and population, and actually I want to merge those two tables, and I want to merge on a specific or common field, which is county, so county from here, as well as county from here, okay, and there is privacy levels, that's fine. Let's say ignore privacy levels for now. Click on save, that's fine for our data now. And the point here is that the columns do not need to have the same name, okay? Or because you can simply specify each column you want. For instance, also select county and population. In this case, it makes no sense, but it could also be done like that, okay? Though there was no need that they have the same name, just in case you're wondering. Okay, so we simply select the county in here, and then we can specify what kind of joint we want to have, and also if you want to use fuzzy matching to perform the merge. So fuzzy matching simply refers to, let's say your data is not 100% spelled the same, okay? There might be some small spelling differences, then you could try fuzzy matching, okay? It doesn't work perfectly, but it is an option. And you could also specify for the merge options, if you select it, what's the threshold, for instance, okay? How similar must the words be? So between county, for instance, with a Y at the end, and with a IE, for instance, at the end, or something like that, okay? These kind of spelling issues or errors. This could be, well, you could try the fuzzy merge, but from my personal point of view, it's always best if you clean your data set and try to have it as clean as possible up front before you do something like that. But fuzzy matching is one option you might try out if you want to do it, okay? So we don't need those options now. we have the selection has matched 74 of the first 74 rows. Okay, so far so good. We got a preview here, and we can define how we want to join. So left order, right order, full order, inner, left, right, anti. Okay, anti simply refers to we only want to keep the columns which are available in the first table here, but which have no matching fields in the second. Okay, this would be left anti, and right anti would exactly be the opposite. Inner would only be the matching rows. So in case, for instance, there's a county which is available in our original data but not available in the web query, then this would not get taken into account. Okay, if we use only inner. So that's why I say left order, and you can also see all from first matching from second. Okay, so basically we want to keep our original data and only want to append in this case the population here, right, or basically those two columns here where we have a county. Actually basically we want to keep all the original ones and only want to select those which are from the second one, which we can append, okay, which we can find a matching value. Okay, so we can simply then click OK, and then we can see basically we have merged the queries, and in our original location data we have now a new column which is this population from web. And if you do not click on the table itself but click next to it, so here in an empty space, and what you can see is a preview of the data. Okay, you can see in this case the rank, the county, as well as the population. Okay, and we scroll down, you can see this table is now exists actually for all the rows in our location data. And the reason why it's a table is simply because currently it has three, it has not only one specific value, but three values, okay, for one specific row in here. So what you can do now is you can simply click on these little arrows here, click on it, and then you can select actually which kind of columns from the three we have seen you want to keep, okay? In our case, we do not need all of them, so you can simply deselect it and only select the population, because we do not need the county as well as the rank for the specific cell. All we need is the population from the web, okay? And we also deselect use original column names as prefix, okay? Because if we want to keep this here, then the new column would be called population from web dot population instead of only population, okay? So we click OK, and we can see that now population has been extracted here, okay? And we can see all the different values here for the specific countries, okay? So this is and I double click on it, and I name this, for instance, updated population, or let's say underscore, okay, population, okay? So it's updated population, and you can see it's ABC currently. So obviously it's not a decimal number. So if you want to, or a number itself, so if we use a decimal number instead, and you can see that I get an error. And the reason why I get this error is because my Power BI version is not recognizing, if I go back up here and take a look at this step here before, this this comma as a separator, okay, for the million here. It doesn't recognize that because I have a German version here, and this is why it doesn't recognize that correctly. So in case you're living in the United States, then you should not have any issues. But if you have to work with, well, foreign data types any time, what you can do is, if we go back to the change type here, we get rid of this step, and you simply go up here again, ABC, and then instead of selecting decimal number here, you have the option to using local, okay? Click the using local, and then a window appears. Just a second, here it is, and then you can say, okay, what kind of data type it is. Well, in this case, let's say it's decimal number. You could also say, actually, in this case, a whole number, because I don't think there are any decimals here. So let's say whole number, and then you can say local. And for the local, you can click here. I'm searching for English United States. So scroll down, and there is English. And let's take a look. English at the end, there should be some United States. And here it is. Okay, English United States. Okay, and you can see there are also already some samples. And if I click OK, then you can see that now I get my data correctly. Okay, so I do not receive any errors here anymore. Okay, so that's that. I got my updated population. And finally, what I would like to do is I go down back in here and simply say, for my original population, I simply click on it, and then I say I want to remove it. Okay, so remove this one, and I get rid of it, and that's it. Okay, so if we now take a look at the data, okay, looks fine for us, and then again simply select this one and say I do not need this anymore, so I disable the load. So disable the load, and you can see now it's also grayed out, and I simply again drag this down here because I do not need it in my data model in here. Okay, and then I simply click on close and apply, and just wait until my data gets loaded. And if I go back to my Power BI, you can see apply query changes. Just wait a second and you can see your data in here. Okay, and now if I go to my location data, for instance, if I select it, you can see that I got my updated population column here as well. Okay, so that's that for this video. As always, hopefully you learned something new. In case you got any questions, feel free to ask them. And otherwise, see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.